Welcome to this week's episode of PTA at pta.listen on Instagram, www.passyhawks.com.au for our website, playlists there. Make sure you're listening in the playlist. If you're not listening in the playlist by now, I don't know how to help you. Head to our socials and you'll find them there.
One bloke who's not listening in the playlist.
Chris
And our guest for this evening, Christopher Maston, one of my favourite buddies from forever. Give me a slow one.
It's real meaningful when it gets slow like that.
The slow.
Thanks for having me, boys. Two of my favourite people too.
For context, Chris introduced Tom and I by chance. Had always said
was it by chance? Is there anything that's really by chance? Who knows?
Yes. Getting straight to the good stuff.
It wasn't by chance. It was the universe doing its divine thing. We had a beer and we really got along. And then all of a sudden we are listening to music together and chatting shit. So thank you very much for that, man. You put an amazing playlist together, a very eclectic playlist that maybe reflects you.
Yeah.
How was that process?
Rough and tough and long. And eclectic is a good word, I think, because like my music taste is all over the place, depending on mood, time of day. But then majority of the ones that make the top 5, which is extremely difficult, are probably more ones that I've like grown up with, and none of them are really new. You know what I mean? Like
a bit more to them.
They've got a bit of history behind them, or
you've listened to them at different stages of your life and
doing important fun shit, and they stay there. You know,
important fun shit is what it's all about. Tom, a little bit about your relationship with Chris.
Yeah, well, Chris and I would have met, I'd imagine it would have been like November 24, 2013, when I was drafted. I was a long-time West Coast supporter as a kid, always loved the footy club. But I think like a lot of people, I sort of stopped being so fanatical through high school.
Yeah.
And you start playing a lot of footy yourself, and it's just like social stuff
and
going on.
There's a couple of other interests that you might fall into.
Yeah, exactly. You're a little bit distracted to be watching the Eagles on a Saturday night. And so I hadn't actually watched heaps of the Eagles in the last probably 5 or 6 years when I got drafted, and that's probably when Masto had been up and coming. But yeah, we met when I got to the footy club, and pretty much we just hit it off straight away. Masto was a senior player. He would have been 7 years in, like that nice mid-range, and the most outgoing, lovely, sort of front-up, authentic guy. And it just made my time at the club really, really easy to integrate, because I had friends that first time that I come around to your house.
I was going to speak that. But I think you get it, like being a West Australian as well, like I could be a little bit of a dick to the Victorians, just because when they get drafted, like when you needed this sounds really fucking arrogant and mean, but like you had to fix them a little bit. They were a little bit too... They liked it a little bit too much. So the West Australians, they were all automatically Dommy. You get drafted with Dommy, and it was just like two WA boys. Like, absolutely, come to my house. I've just bought a new house in Vic Park. I want you there on the weekend. And then the boys were straight over. And
first weekend they
pretty much.
got drafted.
The first weekend I moved into the house, it was like, this is maybe a month after they'd been there, and then I had all my mates around But no footy boys, I don't reckon. It was mainly just...
maybe Ginner might have been there or maybe not. But yeah, it's special. You join a club, you're a young kid. A lot of it's pretty authoritarian at the start. Learn this, learn that. Here's your gear, rock up on time. And then the first time your phone buzzes on Saturday Arvo, like, what are you doing? What's Masto? Me and Dom sitting there like... Yeah,
you got to go.
It's great.
Yeah, mate. Well,
and that's like...
I'm nothing. What are you doing?
When we chatted with Gov... it's that olive branch, like he was jumping fences and then jumps fences with some of his teammates, and that made his existence a whole lot easier. And that took him years for that moment to happen. You've done that day one. Yeah,
like pretty much. Yeah, he offered the olive branch out and said, "Man, come around for a beer because why not? I'm having one. Come and join. Meet my friends. Meet my missus." And we went around that night and had the funnest time ever, and never looked back since, really.
Nah.
Yeah, shout out to Emmy, has a big listener and given some amazing feedback. A bit of context on my relationship with Chris. So we work in similar industries. Chris, a wine genius, myself in the beer industry. And we have a bunch of overlapping friends. and I was getting my haircut one day at Mitch Benson's house, who still needs to call you back, still needs to fix up what's ever going on up here.
Shouldn't have named my son after him.
And Chris had a haircut after me, and he was like, fuck yeah, like we're all friends now. And yeah, we've been friends since.
Yeah, I've been trying to be friends with you for a while, and then we kind of teed that up with MJ so we could overlap our haircuts. And
was that intentional?
Look, maybe. I wish I could say like 100% yes, but like probably was.
You could have just chucked an olive branch out there, bro, and just hit him up.
Nah, he wasn't taking the olive branch. This cunt, mate. He's not into it.
I've learnt now, and now learned to say I love you to my mates, and a bit more caring.
Oh, it's extremely important.
May I ask you, were you, as your MO, were you not like that? Not I love you to your mates, like, because it is saying I love you to your friends or your family or your missus' family or like people you actually care about has gone from, for me anyway, almost like unacceptable and weird, and people are taken aback by it. But there's nothing unacceptable or weird about it. It's just honest and normal.
That's awesome.
And now it's slowly sort of starting to make its way into like, yeah, why would you not tell your friends at every opportunity, or your mum or whatever, that you love them, that you love them a lot? Is that your thing? Or not your thing?
I was always like, would share how I'd feel with my mates, but I would never outwardly be like, hey, I love you. Like, and this is deep early. It took me a while to say I love you to Lauren, not because I didn't love her. It's because I wanted to say it right at Nelly Furtado. I wanted to say it right, and then after I got that out of the system, I was fucking, good, great. Like, that is beautiful. I've done that. And then it just got easier saying it to my mates after that. Yeah. I don't think I don't not share my emotions, but that was...
Because we've had big bonding over that.
Mate, it's extremely... Like, I've kind of grew up where it was just my mum, dad, like every time I left... Well, not dad, but mum. Every time I left the house, love you.
Exact same for me.
And then, like, that was always the way I was with everyone that I cared about growing up. So, like, it costs you absolutely nothing. Like,
just like using your voice on the field.
Yeah, it costs you nothing.
But
it goes a long way, I reckon. And, like, I always said this a couple times, but we had to force Dommy... Well, I pretty much probably forced you to say I love you when we hung up the phone or whatever.
Yeah.
Dommy flat out wouldn't do it for like fucking years until we've broken him now.
We've broken him now. He even love you, mate. Love you, mate.
You're like, it just costs nothing. I could have a car accident or he could.
Yeah.
How good is that? The last time you ever heard my voice was...
Do you remember that bottle of wine that had the cork?
Yeah, tell your mates you love them.
And you were like, we're in the middle of COVID, and I reckon that was maybe your third.
We literally tried it. As soon as I saw that, they sent some samples over because they want us to sell them in WA, and I was like, pulled a cork. I was like, I didn't even try it. It was called Scotty. He was like, we're getting this shit.
You sent that to everyone. And I asked a few of our mutual friends, I was like, did you get a photo of that? They're like, yeah. I was like, that's so sweet. We're going to get stuck into some music now about housekeeping for this episode. Masto's gone and paired some of his favourite music with some of his favourite wines.
Yeah.
So we're going to be tasting wines. Masso's going to run us through the song at the same time as he runs us through the wine. I hope it works. I've got a song for you, Mystery by Turnstile. We listened to them in the car the other week. Showed them to you. My daughter's favourite band, one of my favourite bands. You and I have listened to them a couple of times.
And is this your Masto song? Is this?
This is us pretty much.
Right.
We've had a few songs shared, but I think this is pretty much just the energy you got out of this song when I showed you. You were like, your daughter's the coolest person in the world. This band's the coolest band in the world.
If Turnstile ever come to Perth, I'm taking Esther by myself.
And then Sail, AWOL Nation.
Yeah. That's my song.
Yep. Tell me about that.
Oh man, it's just, there's, like I was saying, very hard to pick these five, but I listened to your episodes. I'm a big fan of PTA, clearly, from the start. Gives me a little stiffy every time I see the clips. But no, don't block anything out. This is gold. But so AWOL Nation, so I was like, just immediately with this, any time that song comes on, it'll flick me to, I'm on the front of my mate, Mitch Wormwell's, and he used to have this boat called the Prez.
Yeah. We're clipping that one.
That's not. It was like, we love the fucking Prez, man.
Yeah.
And that song would come on all the time. Like, it'd almost be like every third song, but we'd just be on the front. It reminds me of getting hell sunburnt, being violently drunk at Rotto, trying to catch a crayfish with your bare hands. Amazing. And drinking out of the bottle. So,
and Mitch is just
good place to
plucking crayfish with one eye closed.
Yeah.
This is Mystery by Turnstile, and after that you'll hear Sail by AWOL Nation.